You know, a community's identity is so often forged in struggle. Today, we're going to explore a 300-year journey of Sikh resilience and the incredible quest for sovereignty, all told through 5 key pivotal moments in history.
So here's our roadmap. We'll kick things off with the foundation of the struggle. Then we'll witness these profound acts of faith and sacrifice. From there, you'll see how losing powerful symbols actually fueled a political movement, and we'll wrap up with a really complex reality of a state that was finally won. To really get a handle on this history, you've got to see it through 2 powerful lenses. First, a continuous, grinding struggle for survival. And second, this unwavering pursuit of sovereignty. Honestly, these 2 themes, they drive everything we're about to talk about.
Okay, so this timeline right here, this is our journey. We're starting way back in 1644 and then jumping through 5 critical moments, each separated by decades, until we land in 1966. But here's the thing, each date isn't just a random point in time, it's a major turning point that completely shapes the next chapter of the story. So our story really begins with these moments of deep, profound faith, where the ultimate sacrifice of just a few individuals came to define an entire era for the whole community. Interestingly, our story doesn't kick off with a big battle, but with a birth. In 1644, Bhai Mani Singh Ji was born. Now, he would go on to become this renowned scholar whose life and eventual death would perfectly embody the principles of faith and sacrifice that became so foundational to this entire struggle. All right, now we're going to jump forward just over a century, 1746. This year marks a period of really intense and brutal persecution. It was a time defined by this terrifying instrument of public execution. And that instrument was the charkadai. I mean, just picture this. These were execution wheels, specifically designed for a torturous, public death. They were used to instill fear and completely crush any kind of dissent. In 1746, this unimaginable fate befell a father and son, Subig Singh and Shahbaz Singh. Their martyrdom on the Charkadi became this incredibly powerful symbol of defiance against absolute tyranny. But their personal sacrifice, as horrific as it was just one part of a much larger tragedy. During this exact same period, under the authority of Lakhpat Rai, more than 1,000 Sikhs were martyred. The scale of the violence was just staggering, and it transformed individual acts of faith into this huge collective story of survival against all odds. Okay, so now the narrative shifts a little bit. We're moving from the loss of life to the loss of something just as vital, a real, tangible symbol of sovereignty. And this loss, it would ignite a whole new kind of struggle. A century later, in 1846, the political landscape had been completely redrawn. After the Anglo-Sikh Wars, the Sikh Empire fell, and the victors, well, they seized a potent symbol of its former glory. The loss of the Kohinoor diamond wasn't just about a precious stone, no way. It was a profound psychological blow. For the Sikhs, this diamond represented their sovereignty, their divine right to rule. Taking it away was a very clear, very public declaration that their independence was over. So this loss of sovereignty, it fueled a new kind of movement. As we get into the 20th century, you'll see the fight evolve from the battlefield to the political arena. And you can see the pattern, right? Another century after the Kohinoor was taken, we arrive at 1946. This year marks another critical turning point, shifting the community's goals from reclaiming a symbol to demanding a state. And right here, the fight for self-determination becomes official. The Shiromani Committee passes a formal resolution, a clear, unambiguous demand for a separate, independent Sikh state. The struggle had finally found its political voice. And that brings us to our final chapter, just 2 decades later. The long-sought-after goal of a state is finally realized, but its birth is immediately met with fierce opposition, creating a new and really complicated reality. The sequence of events in 1966 is just so stark and immediate. The state of Punjab is finally declared, a moment of immense victory, you'd think. But that victory is instantly challenged by fierce opposition, led by Jonsang leader Yagi Dutt, who begins a protest against its very existence. This moment reveals such a painful paradox. I mean, on one side, you have the declaration of Punjab, the culmination of a centuries-long struggle, and on the other, a fast unto death in protest. This wasn't just political division, it signaled that the fight for sovereignty was far from over.
It had simply entered a new internal phase. So, when you step back, you see this clear thread connecting all 5 of these moments: the martyrdom of a father and son, the loss of a diamond, a political resolution, and the complex birth of a state. These aren't just separate events. They are all chapters in a single, continuous story of identity, an identity forged through sacrifice and the unyielding pursuit of sovereignty.
And this leaves us with a final, powerful question to think about. When you look at this whole journey of sacrifice, loss, and political struggle, how do the echoes of these 300 years of history continue to shape and define the identity of the Sikh community today?